Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome inside Garage Door Sports, your no-holds-barred weekly discussion on everything in the sporting world. For all your news on hockey, baseball, basketball, football, soccer, and more, you've come to the right place. And now it's time for your hosts, Nick McVicker, Kyle Vardy, and Irfan Manji. That's right, folks. We are back for episode number 7 of the podcast since the relaunch. As always, I'm Nick McVicker. Joining me in studio again, welcoming him back, is Kyle Vardy. How you doing, buddy? Know you were sick last week.
Still not feeling the greatest, but good to be back.
Glad to have you back. Definitely glad to have you back. Yep. We missed you. Unfortunately, Irfan will not be able to join us this week, so it's just you and me, dude.
Sounds good.
Just you and me. Got lots to talk about. If I can get the words out.
Yeah, there's lots of things that have happened in the last week.
See, we got Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
4 teams are now through to the final 8. Couple surprises.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Harper, he signed.
Finally signed, yeah.
And played his first game yesterday. Well,
yeah.
He got 2 at-bats. He didn't actually play in the field. But whatever, he's in.
Against a very interesting shift as well.
Yeah, well, it's funny because he had a guy on. Oh, well, we'll get to that. Whatever.
Yeah.
NBA, a couple teams have clinched playoff spots. A couple teams are looking really, really bad.
Yep, that's for sure.
Antonio Brown has been traded.
Finally, yes.
But let's start with some NHL.
Sure.
We're good at that. So
that we are, yes.
Looking at the standings right now, we're now a couple weeks removed from the trade deadline.
Yep.
You didn't really have a whole lot to say on that because you were missing last week, but what did you think of the trade deadline?
It was slower up until the last 20 minutes than I think everybody expected, but
yeah.
I think majority of the people that everybody thought was going to move actually moved. Ottawa got a good haul for Stone. I wasn't exactly expecting the extension right away, but it's good for Stone that he got the extension.
Well, he didn't sign it right away either. He didn't sign it until actually yesterday or Friday.
But he had it in place.
Yeah, he had it in place.
Kind of stuff. But, it was. I expected, as a Leafs fan, I expected them to do more. They didn't, which we'll see how that ends up. But Nashville got better with Simmons. Didn't really give up a whole hell of a lot for him either.
No.
Boston got more depth. Tampa got their people. Actually, I guess Tampa really didn't do anything, but
they didn't really need to.
They didn't really need to.
Have you seen their team?
Yeah, exactly. Carolina held onto their guys.
A little bit of surprise to me, but they've also been playing really well. So
yes and no, but they're in 3rd place right now. So yes, it's close with those last 3 teams.
Yeah.
On the outside, but if Carolina was going to do anything, they weren't going to trade Ferland for picks or anything like that, or draft prospects. They were just going to keep him, and kind of like what the Leafs did with JVR last year, have him as his own rental, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah. So other than that, it pretty much went to plan.
Yeah.
I think Philly kind of got short-ended by the Simmons deal. Apparently, they had a deal in place with Boston to get a first-round pick, and didn't pull the trigger. So,
yeah. Well, we asked you, the fans, now that it was all done, who you thought was the favorite to take home Lord Stanley's Cup, and 57% have Tampa Bay.
Yep.
29 San Jose, 14 Calgary. And those are the only people who we only could put 4 options up, but no one put on the other segment. So Boston, Toronto, Washington, New York Islanders, Vegas.
Honestly, it's Tampa's to lose is really
Winnipeg,
what it is.
Nashville.
Winnipeg's been on a downturn. Calgary, I don't trust their goaltending.
Yeah.
Calgary can put the puck in the net, but I don't trust their goaltending whatsoever.
Fair.
Again, San Jose, I don't know how well, Martin Jones is good, but I don't know how well he's going to hold up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Winnipeg is number 3 in the West, but
third in the West, first in their division.
Again, Winnipeg's a great team, don't get me wrong, but the way they've been playing the last couple weeks, I don't know if I trust them.
Although, haven't they won their last couple with Hayes in the lineup now?
Probably. I haven't really paid attention, to be honest.
Yeah,
I know Scheifele's been ice cold.
But Wheeler's been flying.
Wheeler's been good, but in order to them move on, they really have to have all cylinders flying, and
Agreed.
I don't think they are right now.
Agreed. Fair enough.
As well as if you have a second-round matchup with probably Nashville, maybe Calgary, that's...
No, the second round would be either Nashville or St. Louis.
Wouldn't they match up based on points?
Yes, but it's Central Division
Okay, I didn't know if they actually
Pacific.
did that.
They still do it.
I didn't know if they matched up based on points still.
No, it's based off within the division, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
in and of itself.
Means a second round matchup with Nashville or St. Louis. I don't know if I like that.
No, not at all.
So
yeah, that's fair. You have Tampa. You agree with our fans?
Yeah, I think it has to run through Tampa, and it's Tampa's to lose is really what it is.
Yeah,
because Tampa is probably going to play. Columbus is what it's looking like right now. Columbus or Montreal, depending on who sneaks
or Montreal, yeah. I don't really see the Flyers sneak into that spot. So it's Columbus, Montreal, possibly Pittsburgh or Carolina if one of those two drop a little.
Yeah, if they lose a couple points here and there, that kind of stuff. But
right. So
any of those teams, I think Tampa can handle with ease. I think the toughest would be Pittsburgh if they somehow drop out, but.
Montreal could surprise just with Price, depending on how he plays. That is literally the only thing that could probably keep them in that.
But I think the
matchup.
high power of Tampa will probably overpower how well Price will actually play.
But that's the thing; he's literally the only thing that could keep him, keep them in that matchup.
Other than that, we have another Bruins-Leafs series, which I'm not sure how to feel about that.
I don't think anyone.
As a Leafs fan, I don't like it. But
Irfan loves it over in.
Well, as an NHL fan, though, it's come on, we have to do something about this playoff seeding that we get different matchups.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we have the exact same matchups every year.
Well, it's funny because the whole reason they went to this was because they wanted to have rivalries.
Yeah. But things get old real quick.
Yeah.
Especially in today's NHL.
You're literally just asking for problems when you have the same two teams go up against each other every single year.
Yeah, and right now you're on pace for Pittsburgh and the Caps to play again in the first round.
In the first round, right now. Yeah, which is a joke.
Which they've played, other than last year, I think, they played, 4 years straight, I'm pretty sure?
Something like that, yeah.
Or because the Caps kept going against a Rangers or Pittsburgh in each round.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. Islanders Hurricanes will be an interesting series if that actually ends up happening.
That would be fun. That'd be really fun.
That'd be...
fast.
Don Cherry will absolutely hate it.
Oh, yeah.
But it'll be an interesting series.
It'd be so fast.
What are the other series in the...
Yeah, we'll take a look at the West now, and you got Winnipeg going up against Dallas right now.
Yeah.
San Jose against Minnesota, and then you have Nashville, St. Louis, Calgary, Vegas. Which both of those would actually be very fun series.
Could you imagine Arizona sneaks into that bottom spot?
They've played really well. I think their record over the last 10 is something stupid. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They have earned their spot to be that close. Right? They are pushing to be up there, and rightfully so. There's no issues with them playing at the level that they are.
Yeah, I just who's the goalie right now? Kemper?
Is it?
I think so.
I don't know.
Because I know Ranta's injured and he's done for the year.
I don't know.
That's the only other goalie I knew on that team.
Let's look. Let's take a look, shall we? Right now they have Kemper, Ranta, and Picks.
Oh, Calvin Pickard. There you go.
And he's 0 for 3.
Yikes.
So he has not been part of this 10-game stretch unless he was one of the two losses.
Yeah, exactly.
But Kemper and Ranta are the two.
Kemper's got 22 wins. Well, okay.
Good for him. And a 248 goals against.
Yeah, 926% is pretty good.
I'd take that.
Well, you look at the two teams. So Minnesota's got that second wild card right now. It's 74 points. Arizona's 1 point back with a game in hand.
Yeah.
Colorado's 2 points back.
And their next matchup is against Chicago. Whereas Minnesota in their next game plays San Jose.
So that could be a swing as well.
That could be 4-point swing right there.
So, like, Chicago is out of it, obviously. Edmonton looks to be out of it. Really, the only other two teams that are really in the race seem to be Colorado and Arizona.
Yeah. And as it stands right now, can we point out that the 7-team Central Division has 5 teams in a playoff spot right now? The 7-team Central Division. 5 out of 7 are currently sitting in a playoff spot.
Yikes.
And Colorado's 2 points back
Yeah.
of that last spot. So realistically, they have 6 teams in contention for 5 spots,
Yikes.
along with 1 from the Pacific Division in Arizona.
Yeah,
That's messed up.
Wow.
That also shows how strong that Central Division really is.
Mm-hmm. Like, even Chicago's had some problems this year, but they would have had a chance if Crawford was healthy, they would have been closer.
Oh, for sure. And if you look past Arizona in that Pacific Division, the next 4 teams are the last 4 teams in the conference. At least on the NHL website. I think on the score they have Edmonton above Chicago. But regardless, like...
Only because Edmonton's got another win. That's the only reason why.
They're tied on row, though. So I don't know. I don't know how they did it. I don't really care.
As I said, it doesn't make sense because they have more wins in general. Which,
yes, but it's wins and overtime wins. So the only ones that they don't count are shootout. So the 2 teams are tied on number of wins without shootout.
No, I know, but I thought it goes wins first, and then it goes to row.
No, it's row first.
Oh, okay.
Row first, and then, I don't know.
Either way, there's only one team officially eliminated from the playoffs right now, the Ottawa Senators.
And that's kind of where everyone expected them to be.
Yeah.
Even before all this Stone, Duchesne, Dzingel drama.
Yeah.
Which led them to being our 2-time reigning Tire Fire of the Week. Good for them. Hey, you're winning something.
They almost beat Boston last night.
They had it, and then Boston did what they do and came
Boston
back.
scored with 45 seconds left in the game. So,
but yeah, the divisions are going to be really fun to watch coming down the stretch. I think there's some big matchups that could go either way, and it'll be interesting to see who ends up in those wild card spots in both the East and the West.
Oh yeah, it'll be a very interesting last 3 weeks of the season.
For sure. Any other stories you want to talk about in the NHL? I know you were looking at that Voracek hit earlier.
Yeah, I didn't see it originally. I just watched it a little bit earlier, and it looks pretty dirty to me. Apparently, he's supposed to have a hearing for a suspension coming up. Apparently,
which I agree with. We both watched it together. That was a bad hit. He went out of his way. Guy wasn't even paying attention to him because neither of them had the puck.
Yep.
And catch the guy high. Like, you can't do that.
Hey, Carl Grundstrom scored. Didn't know that.
Yeah, he got his first last night in his first NHL game. And then the guy from New York did as well, the rookie defenseman. What's his name? Najak or whatever?
Honestly, I've been so out of the loop with sports, I can't say I've paid attention. Ooh.
That's the Eichel one. Yeah. Kyle just watched the Eichel hit. Maybe we'll try to post that as well.
Yeah, that was...
He caught the guy pretty good at the blue line. But Eichel got hit earlier in this game. And nothing happened, so he was pissed.
Oh, for sure.
He caught the guy. That's not the way to go about it. Unfortunately, the Colorado guy was reaching.
I was going to say, I also think the Colorado guy was reaching.
He was definitely reaching. Oh, no.
Which is a problem when you are playing a contact sport and you reach in with one arm and you have your head wide open.
Absolutely.
I think...
Absolutely.
I think Voracek's more likely to get a suspension than Eichel will. I think Eichel might be more of a fine than anything, but who knows with today's NHL?
You really don't. That's the thing. Like, the suspensions and everything are so inconsistent.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so
what are you going to do?
Yep.
We have some sad news from the NHL this week. Ted Lindsay passing away.
Yep.
Terrible Ted. Thoughts and prayers with his family.
Yeah, and then Howell died today.
Howell died as well, yeah. Hamilton born.
Yep.
Born and raised. He passed away as well, so thoughts and prayers are with his family as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's tough to hear those things because we build these athletes up to be almost superhuman.
They're legends. It's the biggest thing. Like, they're legends, and nobody expects them to leave, and when they do pass on, it's okay. Well, but then you also... it's in a way it allows us to relive their memories.
Absolutely.
And all their highlights and everything that we knew them for. It allows us a reason to look back on those. So
And an absolute classy move in the Detroit game the day after.
Yep.
By Athanasiou. I'm
Mhm.
sure you saw it.
Yep.
Scores his goal, points to the 7 on his chest, and straight up and says thank you. You
Yeah.
can actually see him mouth the words thank you.
well,
Which is
the best is that there's definitely a lot of players that realize they wouldn't be where they are without those players, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That I don't know. It's I'm at a loss for words. Really, it's those people that I didn't necessarily grow up on, but you knew them.
you knew 'em.
You knew how they played. You modeled your game around them because of how well they were, and like
Yeah, that's the thing. We didn't grow up watching these guys.
Yeah.
Ted Lindsay, the Rocket.
yeah.
But you know how many of them we could name?
Oh, exactly.
And how many of them we probably have seen videos of and emulated our stuff after is unbelievable. But we never watched them.
No.
And yet we know everything.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like it's sad to see it happen, but you know that Lindsay and Howell, they did exactly what they wanted to do. They got to play one of the best games in the world
Mm-hmm.
for a living, got paid to do it, and left a legacy.
Yeah, and put their stamp on it is really what it was. Right? So,
It's crazy. Let's move on from hockey.
Yeah.
Which
and more positive.
yeah,
news.
we'll get to a more positive note. MLB.
Yep.
Is actually we can actually talk about it. There's spring training going
It's
on.
back.
It's back, baby.
Back.
And we got 2 big stories right now. I mean,
Mhm.
there's other stuff happening, and more will come
Yep.
through spring training. But first one, Harper
Finally signs.
with the biggest contract in MLB history, or is it
Mhm.
sports history?
I believe it's just MLB. I
MLB.
think.
13 years, 300?
I'm sure it's all sports because I don't think anybody else
Is it
has done
300 or 330?
13 years, 330, I
I think
believe.
it's 330. Which, in and of itself, is pretty cool, but does he deserve it?
According to everybody basically in the MLB, yes, he does. If you look at his stats,
I was going to say that.
I don't know if he does.
I think he's a very, very good player, and he can hit the ball, but is he a $330 million man? And if he is, what does that make a Mookie Betts, who's even better defensively and can hit better? What does that make a Mike Trout? What does that make possibly a Vlad if he can get work on his defense? Like, where does that
I feel
put
like
people?
in all of sports that we're just going to have more absurd contracts coming in every year. Every year you're going to get a person who you never think they're going to make that much money, and they end up making a stupid amount of money. Like you look at Machado, everybody says he doesn't hustle, all that kind of stuff. He's technically making more base salary than Harper.
Yeah.
Because he's got $30 million base salary.
Correct.
And is he worth $30 million the way he's played? I wouldn't say so. Is he worth $30 million the way he played last year? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. The years before, maybe.
Are people paying them based on potential and where they can take a team? Yes. And that's
I don't know about that with Machado though.
I think they're looking at him as he's what, 25, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
You're paying him 10 years till he's 35. You're getting every single good year of his existence with MLB, I guess is what you could say.
Yeah.
Right? He's coming onto a team in San Diego that is up and coming.
Yeah.
They have a few good pieces in place, but they have lots of prospects coming in.
Yeah.
So I think what in San Diego's mind, Machado's that piece that can then lift those prospects so they don't have as much pressure.
That's fair.
Right?
But I would have taken Harper over Bryce or Manny.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yes, and Manny brings you better defense. And
not as short, which was what he was pushing for. Thankfully, it looks like he's going to play third.
Yeah.
He's one of the best defensive third basemen in the league right now. One of. Not the best. I don't think he's one of. I think he's one of the top five.
I'd say he's 1 or 2.
I'd put him top 5. For sure.
Who would you put ahead of him?
I'd have Arenado for sure. Arenado's probably the best defensive third baseman.
When Machado was playing third, he was the best defensive third baseman.
No, he had the best arm. He made some mistakes going to his left.
Yeah.
He was way better going to his right down the third base line than he was going infield.
Yeah.
So I think overall, Arenado's a better defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think Harper's a very, very good defensive player? For sure.
Yeah.
1, 2, maybe third best in the league.
Yeah.
I still think Arenado's better.
Okay.
Right? And that's not even a shot at Machado.
So what does that say for Arenado's next contract then?
It's going to be stupid.
So
that's the other thing. Like Machado got 10 years of $30 million each.
Mm-hmm.
Arenado, I think, is a better hitter.
Well,
and a better defensive
They were saying
player.
that they were close to a contract with Arenado, did not? I don't think he ever signed it.
I don't think he ever signed anything. So we will never know.
Yeah, so I think he's going to be a great piece for San Diego. I think.
Actually, I will correct that.
Did he end up signing a new contract?
I think he did. 8 years, $260 million, which is a 32.5 average. Yeah. That makes him a free agent in the 2027 season.
Because Justin and I were talking, I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah, so he did sign it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. I don't think it got as big of a draw as the Machado and Harper one because, well, it's 8 years at 260 as opposed to 10 years at 300 and 13 years at 330.
Yeah. So to go back to Harper, I think it's a lot of money. I agree, but I think that he is potentially a player that can bring Philly to that next level. I think especially if you take him away from Washington, and you put him in that Phillies lineup in the exact same division.
Yeah,
I think that can actually bring that team almost to the next level.
Okay, but can we actually talk about his stats? The guy's only hit 100 RBIs once in his career. He only has 30 home runs twice.
Mm-hmm.
He is plotted for his power. And I'm not saying that's wrong. He has great power, but he's only hit over 300. He's only hit over 374 twice.
Over 374 or
274?
Okay.
Over 274 twice.
Over 374. That's
he hit 330 in 2015. His MVP season.
Mm-hmm.
He had 42 home runs, 99 RBIs, was 330 with a slugging percentage of 649, which is great. Don't get me wrong, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The only other year he's gone over 300 in his batting average was 2017, but he only had 29 home runs and 87 RBIs.
How many games did he play, though?
Played 111.
Oh, so he missed 50 games.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
But last year he only had...
No, but if you extend those stats out in 2017, he plays the extra 50 games, you're looking at probably 40 home runs and 120 plus RBIs.
Okay, year before, though, he only had 24 home runs and 86 RBIs and 147 games played.
Yeah. And that was a down year. So
it's just an inconsistency with him that
is it inconsistency based on his actual play, or is it inconsistency based on the team around him?
It's hard to tell, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm sure there's underlying stats that people are saying, oh, well, he's actually worth this much money.
Yeah. But you look at their projected lineup, it's scary. You got McCutchen, you got Segura, followed by Harper, Hoskins, Realmuto, Franco, Herrera, Hernandez, and then whoever is pitching.
The pitcher. Yeah.
That's a really good lineup.
And that's your number one batter last year for Phillies, Hernandez, who did quite well last year. I'm pretty sure he had like a 270, 280 average, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And you're now putting him in your 8 hole. That makes your lineup pretty scary. So, how he does next year with all those pieces around him and more protection in that lineup, I could see him drawing a lot more walks. I could see him getting on base a lot more and Rhys Hoskins ripping some bombs.
Okay.
Because they don't want to pitch to Harper, so they'd rather pitch to Hoskins.
Yep.
And then if they don't want to pitch to Hoskins, they have Realmuto right behind him. So I can think Realmuto is going to have a great year too. So I think with Harper going there, he makes that lineup better.
Oh,
he
for
makes
sure.
Everybody around him better, which if they have to pay him $23.5 million plus whatever else he's making in incentives, then to me as Philly, that's worth it.
Oh, I'm not denying that
you already
fact.
have the pieces in place, and I think The only thing they need next is a 3-4 starter.
Yeah.
And then they are set, I think.
Yeah, because they got Nola and Arrieta and Pavetta.
Oh, Velasquez is their third starter right now.
Okay.
But I think he's better off as a 4-5. So if you can get a third starter from somebody, I think that's probably the best for them to go after. But
that's fair. But you look at the lineup that they had last year. Franco had the highest batting average at 270.
Yep.
Had 22 home runs. Odubel Herrera had 22 home runs. Rhys Hoskins had 34 home runs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Hernandez had 15, but he had 95 walks.
Yeah.
Like, they're good. They're putting their players in a good position.
Oh, for sure.
And the Nationals are probably going to be a little worse this year. The Braves are...
The projected standings right now is the Nationals are going to win the division, which...
Their pitching might help.
Yeah, but
you just don't know.
Strasburg can't stay healthy for the life of him.
I know. I'm just saying. You just don't know with their pitching. They're either going to be lights out or they're going to shit the bed.
Well, the other thing is the Phillies had to get better because the Mets got better.
Yeah.
Right? The Mets got Cano. They got Edwin Diaz.
And the Braves are young, so they're going to get better just based off having more experience.
The biggest thing is I think the Braves have to go after Greinke. I think the Braves need a number one starter.
They do, for sure. No,
and
they definitely need
They have all the offensive pieces. They have all that kind of stuff, but the Braves just don't have the pitching to withstand that National League, especially in their own division.
Yeah.
I think the Marlins are going to be absolutely terrible, but the other four teams are going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Mets are going to be a lot better. Nationals are going to take a little bit of a back step, I think. But I don't think they're going to miss that much. I don't think they're going to be taking that big of a step back. And then the Braves, obviously, they were good last year. See how much Acuna can take a step forward. And I think it's going to be an interesting division. I couldn't tell you who's actually going to win that division right now.
No. Like Atlanta won last year.
Yeah.
So people are putting them below the Nationals, the Phillies, and the Mets, but
Mm-hmm.
they won last year. They went to the playoffs. That gives you a lot of experience for those young guys. They could do it again.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? The Phillies got better. The Nationals, in my opinion, got worse, but everyone still has them really high.
Yep.
I don't know what the Mets are going to do. I think it comes down to pitching for them. If they can have Syndergaard and DeGrom and healthy,
Mm-hmm.
like, it makes a difference.
Yep.
The biggest thing for the Braves is going to be pitching, and if they can get some starting pitchers go good, like Teheran, if Soroka and Toussaint can come up and pitch lights out like they have been in minors, which is a big ask.
Like once they get Fontenewitz back, because I think he's going to miss. They said he might not make the opening day start. They got Gausman from Baltimore last year,
which will help as a 4 or 5,
late starter. But I still think they need that one.
Colby Allard could be really good too.
I think they need that one big guy.
I agree.
The one everybody keeps talking about is Greinke,
which is rightfully because he's the one that's on the market.
Exactly for Arizona. The other one they keep talking about is Bumgarner. So I think
Bumgarner is less likely to move than Greinke, though.
I would say yes. I just think that they need one of those two guys. I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which the two big guys in the market. Everybody's saying that Stroman's available. I don't know if he's that big of a guy comparatively to Bumgarner or Greinke. He's younger, fits more into the Braves system that way.
Yeah. That might make a better deal for the Braves, but
yes,
like logical sense with the building team and everything might help them a little bit better. But
yeah, I agree.
But it is what it is.
And then obviously, I don't know what about their bullpen, but if they need a closer, they have their ex-closer on the market right now, right? So
yeah,
depends if they want to pay Kimbrel that much. Is really what it comes down to. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it'll be an interesting NL East this year.
Oh, for sure.
The other big story in spring training right now has been the Vladimir Guerrero show, and rightfully so.
And lack thereof in spring training right now.
Yeah, but rightfully so. The guy's the number one prospect in MLB, voted by everybody.
Yep.
He's got the bat that is ready to go. The defense needs a little bit of work, but it's not that far off. It's not like he's an absolute liability on the third base line. Story comes out today that our happy-go-lucky number one prospect has an oblique strain.
Yes, he does.
To give everyone kind of a medical background to this, grade 1 oblique strain, when they do strains, they're based off of how much of the actual fibers are torn within the muscle.
Yep.
Grade 1 is 5% or less. Grade 2 is anywhere between 5% and 100%, which is stupid.
Basically everything else.
And then grade 3 is when it is actually 100%.
Yeah, good night. Yeah.
Right? So the whole thing is torn.
Yeah.
Those ones are the worst, obviously, because you have to fully reattach a muscle together, which is very, very hard to do, but can be done and has been done many times. Kobe Bryant's Achilles is a good example of that.
Yep.
You can fully repair them. So thankfully for Vlad, it's only grade 1.
Yeah.
It's like less than 5%. It's going to be two to 3 weeks. They're saying 3 right now, but 2 to 3 weeks. People are questioning it.
People are questioning it purely because the Jays were already talking about, manipulating his service time and having them have an extra year of control and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance that he might have tweaked something and then they said, okay, we'll shut it down for 3 weeks and we'll reevaluate you then, just so they can cover themselves. I'm sure there is some sort of injury or something.
I don't think Vlad would want to miss spring training.
I think the biggest thing is they need to shut him down, opposite what they did to Donaldson last year, where they let him play and then all of a sudden he's gone for the rest of the season.
Yeah. So hopefully he comes back healthy and ready to go, because he's going to be a big piece for this Blue Jays team.
Oh, he's a huge piece of the future. I think this year, I don't know if he's going to have the season everybody thinks he's going to have, just because of how poor I think the Jays are going to play. But I think their team at the end of the year is definitely going to be a lot better than it looks projected this way. The start of the year, at least. Drury's expected to be starting at third.
I have the same.
Which
I have a different lineup order, but I have the same pretty much.
Yeah. So it's basically the positions are set unless they make any sort of moves. Teoscar in left, Pilar center, Grichuk in right probably.
McKinney's probably going to start on the bench.
I would say McKinney either starts on the bench or in the minors.
Well, right now,
I don't know if he has any options.
Right now, it looks like he's starting on the bench.
Does he have options? Though?
I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Because right now, I think I'd rather have Pompey there right now because he's got no options left and he's playing well
for sure,
spring training. So the biggest person that I'm interested to see is Alford, because right now he's on an absolute tear.
Yeah, he's 4 home runs in 4 games.
Yeah, 4 home runs and 11 at bats.
Yeah,
which is just outstanding. So
and that's what he's shown that in spurts that he can do that. He's shown he has power and he's got some stupid speed when he wants to have it.
Yeah.
So he's going to be our future center fielder.
Yeah, so I think Pilar is going to be gone this year. I just think they're going to try and trade and get some value. And
I don't know if he's going to be gone at the beginning of the year, though.
Maybe not at the beginning of the year, but I think eventually, at least somewhat through the season.
You also think Smoke's going?
I think Smoke's
spring
going.
Training.
I think Smoke's basically doing a audition right now, and I think he's going to go to the highest bidder of person who needs a first baseman.
Yeah.
Because if I look at the Yankees and stuff like that. I think the Yankees might look at him because I don't know how much they actually trust Voit or whatever the hell his name is.
Bird.
Yeah. And either I would take Smoke over both of those in a heartbeat. Just because, I think Voigt's going to come back down to earth compared to what he did last year. And right, if you add Smoke to the lineup with a switch hitting bat and a lefty catcher at first, that lineup, because right now your projected lineup for the Yankees is Hicks, Judge, Stanton, Sanchez, Andahar. They have Voit at first base, Tulo, Gleyber Torres, and Brett Gardner.
And Tulo will soon be subbed out for...
No, Tulo's there for the year.
No, I know, but Didi will come back and Tulo will be on the bench.
Oh, yeah, that's at the end of the year, though. You had Tommy John, he's not coming back until August? Yeah. July, August, something like that?
I think it's July.
So yeah, he's got
half
months,
a season
right?
basically.
So
he's got half a season to pretty much try to win a contract for next year.
Yeah, and then
that's his job.
And then even then, Tulo can basically just fill in for somebody because obviously in sports there's injuries all the time. Right?
See, but you have Tulo on the bench to be that veteran presence, and he can spot Gleber and Didi for starts down the stretch to give them rest before the playoffs. Because let's be honest, the Yankees are probably going to be in the playoffs.
Well, and then you can also swap out Stanton and put him into left field and take out Gardner and put Tulo at DH if you have to, or whatever you want to do.
They have options.
They have options, but I think Voit at number 6 right there is probably the weak spot in that lineup right now. And I say if you have a guy like Smoke that's available, I think you should go for it. Like, you look at their rotation: Severino, Paxton, Tanaka, Happ, Sabathia. Like, I'm sorry, what? Like you're all in. You're trying to beat Boston. Is what you're going head to head. And Boston's got a similar guy to Smoke and Moreland right now. Smoke's a better hitter, I believe, but very similar defensively, right? So I think that's where the Yankees are lacking. I think the Jays can really pick that up. And then, obviously, for the Jays, you trade Smoke. That opens up a spot for Rowdy Tellez. So it'll be an interesting year for the Jays. It's going to be a very, very, very long year, but it'll be very interesting for sure.
Here's another place that he could end up that might make them a little better. How about the Rockies? I know Murphy's playing first there right now, but Murphy was a second baseman for a long time. Their current second baseman is Garrett Hampson.
Who?
Thank you.
Okay.
That's the same question I had.
Yeah.
You bring him into that lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Allow him to...
I got Ryan McMahon, too.
Yeah, but... would you rather have Daniel Murphy playing second and Smoke playing first, or would you have McMahon? Or
I know for sure,
right? And they have some. I'm pretty sure I think they have some prospect capital that they could move.
Oh, I'm sure they have something,
right? And I don't think Smoke's going to cost an arm and a leg, honestly. As much as the Jays want him to, I don't think he will.
He'll get a good prospect.
He'll get a good prospect, but I don't
sure.
think he'll get a prospect in a pick. Like, it'd probably be just a good prospect.
It'd have to be a good prospect in order to get him out. Like, other than that, the Jays are going to trade him and then trade him to the highest bidder at
for sure
the trade deadline, right? So
I agree. It's just more of a, could the Rockies be in play?
Oh, potentially. The other one they were talking about was Houston and moving off Yuri Gurriel off of first and putting him as a DH.
Yeah,
because Yuli's not exactly the greatest defensive first baseman.
And Smoke is actually, to his credit, not a terrible defensive first baseman.
No, Smoke's actually a really good defensive first baseman, and he's a switch hitter.
Yeah.
So if you have the opportunity to put Yuli as DH and then move in Smoke as a switch hitter in the lineup, that makes the Astros that much better. And the Astros have lots of prospect capital they can then ponder off. So that was another option.
Yeah. And all this started from our Vlad conversation. Honestly, the J season is going to be probably a gong show from day one. But you got to expect them to be like, okay, we're going to try. We're going to play our players as much as we can. I think Bichette, I think Tellez, I think Vlad all make the team at some point early in the season. Is there a chance Biggio comes up this season? Maybe. Doubt it.
It honestly, it depends on if they trade anybody. If they start trading people, then it opens opportunities. I don't want Biggio to come up and sit on the bench.
No, absolutely not. I'm saying to come up and actually play. Is there a chance?
The biggest thing is you got to find a spot for Vlad. If Vlad's going to play third, means Drury's out. Means Drury's probably going to be your extra guy.
Which is fine. I actually don't mind him as the extra.
Right now, short's Freddie Galvis. So Freddie Galvis he's a competent shortstop, so I don't know if they're really going to look to unseat him right now.
No, but I'm saying if you get to the trade deadline, right?
Yep.
Let's say you get to the trade deadline. Galvis is having a good year.
Yep.
He's a veteran bat, right? In comparison, do you move him and allow Bichette to come up if we're trash?
Look to trade him and see what you can get.
If we're trash at that point, might make sense.
It only depends on really what you're going to get back. Is really the question is.
Of course.
I only think Bichette's going to come up probably late in the season, probably July, August, maybe even just September.
Yeah.
I think he needs a little bit more conditioning and a little bit more seasoning.
He's played well in the spring training, though, so
sure.
He's making it very hard for them.
And the biggest thing is I think some of their older pieces are going to be gone, and I think that's going to open up a lot more opportunity. Right now, Biggio's playing every position under the damn sun.
But that's what he did. That's what he did in minor leagues.
Yeah, but that's what
that's what the
Jays have been trying to do. They've been telling him to go play this position, all this kind of stuff, and
he's been happy to do it.
And he's been happy to do it, which is good because you can have an all-around guy, kind of like a Swiss Army knife, kind of like Zobrist, right?
Holt as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it'll be an interesting here to watch the Jays only because it's the Jays.
Yep, and it'll be a very long season, but we're in for the long haul. So
understatement.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to some Saka.
Sure.
Got a couple stories that we want to talk about. Let's first talk Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the second leg of the first half of the draws.
Yep.
So 4 matches happened.
Mm-hmm.
Couple surprises in the results.
Oh,
I want to save the United PSG one for last because obviously we're going to talk about that one a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let's save that one. Tottenham for the second time blanked Dortmund and won that 4-0 on aggregate. A little surprised with that. I think we all had Dortmund beating them, but it is what it is. Tottenham played really well.
Yep.
Same day, Ajax absolutely trounced Real 4-1 and made them look stupid.
Oh, they were terrible. Yeah.
Made them look absolutely stupid and well-deserved by Ajax. They're probably the best academy system in the entire world.
Yep. And
they showed their young talent in that game.
Yeah, they showed that it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out and buy the best players. If you develop them and bring them up through your system, they can actually be the best players.
For sure. And they earn their spot in the next round, so good for them. Porto won 3-1 after extra time.
Yep.
Because they were tied on aggregate after
90.
After 90 2-2. A little surprised by that. I thought Roma was the better team, but good for Porto for pushing through.
Pretty much everybody we expected to win didn't win.
Well, that's not true because I think we had United winning at PSG because of all the injuries to PSG and the way United was playing.
True.
I don't think we expected it to happen the way it did.
Yeah, with the controversy of.
Well, let's go back to the first game. They lost 2-0 at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
So you now have to go into Paris, score 3 goals, and hope to hold them to 1 to win on away. And it started off perfect. They got a goal in the second minute.
Yeah.
Good start, good way to go. The rest of that first half, even after the goal was scored by PSG, United could not touch the ball.
No.
I think I was showing you at one point it was like 89-11 for possession.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on?
PSG just couldn't put it in the back of the net, which is their problem. If they put one in, that game was done.
Oh, for sure. And then United came out of half, put a quick one in again.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, the penalty was controversial.
Yeah.
Was it the right call? Yes.
Yes.
And I'm happy to have an argument with anybody on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. Had it gone the other way, I kind of would have understood because I actually hate the rule of handball when it comes to arm away from the body because there's no definition of what that means.
Yep.
They say natural arm position. Well, all of us are different. All of our shoulders are different.
Anything's a natural arm position, really.
Right?
It's like
so it's a hard call. Is his arm away from the body? Yes. Is it a penalty? I think so.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of people that were saying that like video review is ruining the game and all that kind of stuff because like things like that would normally just happen.
Yeah.
Are now being reviewed and all of a sudden, oh, okay, well, actually we're bringing it back. Like,
I'm caught because I want it to be the right call.
Yeah.
I don't want a team to get screwed on a call not happening because that's what happened to England in the World Cup and everyone lost their minds and that's the whole reason VAR came into effect.
Yeah. But then the other thing is that you're now there's some things I've very watched briefly soccer, but there's a lot of calls that I've seen that are on VAR that are being called that I don't believe should be called.
Oh, I agree. They have not perfected VAR, and it's a bit of a mess.
Which
and
I think the biggest thing is that you gotta if you're gonna bring it in, you gotta make it right. You can't bring it in and do it half-assed, so to say.
No, I agree. I totally agree, and I think they need to figure that out, and that's fine. Like
yeah.
That's something that can be done. But I think they got it right on this one.
Yep.
Paris fans are going to say no, and that's fine. I totally get where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to say that if it happened the other way, I would agree that it was still the right call. I probably wouldn't. As much as I want to believe that
you say that now until it actually happens to your team, but
as someone who just enjoys the game and wants it to be called right, I
Yeah.
wish I could say for 100% certainty that if it was called against United the same way that it was called against PSG,
Yeah.
that I would say it was right. I can't say that,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not going to. But it's one of those ones where, yes, the call was probably right, but no, I don't think it was.
It doesn't make it any easier to accept is
No.
the biggest thing.
So, but United do sneak through, and they
Yep.
finally lost a game today in the Ole Gunnar.
Yep.
Reign.
Oh, now he's cut.
He's
not
cut.
gonna-
No more. He
not-
doesn't
no,
get
he's
his
not the next
contract.
coach, he's done. So
That guy's
yeah.
earned a contract.
Yeah.
Can we state that?
I
outright?
agree, but it was
Can we state that outright though? Right now, he's earned a contract.
I agree. Whether that contract is with United, that is still up to be decided.
I think it's got to be with United.
You would think.
As United, you can't let this guy go.
You would think,
Ah.
but they've done stupider things before.
yeah.
Oh, and then I was reading something else saying that Mourinho apparently is going to take over in Real.
Yeah, and then Real said no.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, Real said he would be dumb not to accept our offer if we offered him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know where Real's standing right
Okay, make up
Whatever.
your mind.
now. So we got 4 more games this week. We'll
Yep.
see how those play out. We'll talk that with Irfan next week.
Mhm.
The draw for the semifinals is March 15th. So hold on, I want to see this. Yeah, so that's March 15th.
Yep.
So that'll be on Friday. So they'll be drawn already into the teams that they're going to play.
Yeah, we can talk
There's a
about it.
chance that 4 English squads actually make it into the final 8.
Because who's on right now? United, Tottenham.
United, Tottenham are through. City have a 3-2 lead going home,
Yeah, and then Liverpool's tied with Bayern 0-0.
and they're going away. So as long as
Yeah.
they draw well scoring, they win.
I was going to say they'd have to score still, but yeah.
They have to score, but as long as they draw well scoring, they go through.
Both games on Wednesday are 0-0 in aggregate. They both tied 0-0. So.
Yeah. So that could be interesting. The 4 English squads into the final 8. That'd be really cool.
And, of course, the way the draw works, they're all going to match up against each other.
Yes, but that means that there's guaranteed 2 teams into the semifinals.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But that'll be interesting. So
Yeah.
the other thing I want to talk about is in the EPO, some absolutely horrific scenes today in multiple matches.
Multiple matches, yeah.
But the big one, and you know what, I'm gonna take this right into our tire fire of the week.
Yep.
Because this is my tire fire, and rightfully so.
Oh, absolutely.
Is the fan going onto the pitch and punching Jack Grealish
Yep.
in the side of the face. Okay? That's an absolute joke. The guy ran on the pitch. That's the other one. You were looking at the
Yeah.
video of the steward. I'm going to get to that. This
I'm-
gets
I'm-
even better.
I didn't see the original video of this one, so I'm watching that
Yeah.
one right now.
So this gets even better. So Grealish, I guess the ball went out of play, and I don't know what happened. Like I didn't see the play before, but the fan runs on, sucker punches him from behind in the bottom of the jaw.
Yeah.
And first of all, my question is, how did he get that far onto the field, and why? Why is there only one security guard chasing this guy down?
Yeah.
How is that allowed?
I don't know. It's
Like, if you watch it, it's right there.
yeah. Well,
Why is there only one security guard?
the stewards are absolutely useless. Half of them are 95 years old and don't even pay attention to the game.
No,
either.
and I get that, but look, there's one
Yeah.
security guard. I know there's multiple because this is a derby match.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know soccer, derby match is when 2 local teams or 2 clubs that have a bitter rivalry go up against each
Yeah.
other. So it would be like, I want to use an example from North America, like the Lakers and the Clippers going up against each other, or the
Yeah.
Dodgers and the Angels. 2 people from
Leafs,
the,
Habs.
no, but that's the thing. These are even worse because they're literally local rivals. It's not like Leafs and Habs is a huge rivalry, but it's worse than that because they're so much
I
closer.
meant more on the scale of rivalry.
Yeah.
Is what it's more.
But it's Leafs Habs on steroids though.
yeah. Well,
Right?
It's Leafs Habs back in. No, sorry. Let's put it this way. It's Leafs Ottawa back in 06-07.
Yeah.
When it was Chris Neal, Darcy Tucker going to kill people. Is basically
Right.
what we're talking
It's
about.
it's bad.
Yeah.
And so to see this, to have one security guard go out onto the field,
Yeah.
there's got to be probably 50 there because they know this shit happens.
Oh, for sure.
unfortunately. So he gets punched in the face. Doesn't react, by the way. And I want to credit 2 players on Villa for this. I wrote down their numbers. number 6 and number 49. I think it's Mings is number 40. I can't remember who number 6 is, and I'm sorry, I probably should look it up. They held all the other players back while the security guard was pulling this guy out.
Mm-hmm.
Later in the game, Grealish goes and scores
Yep.
the eventual game winner.
Yep.
Goes and celebrates by the advertising boards.
Yep.
And subsequently gets kicked by one of the Birmingham City stewards.
Yep.
What a joke. Are you kidding me? How is if you're the EPL, you have to come down on Birmingham, and not necessarily for the fan one.
Yeah.
That happens. People run on the field. I get
that.
that.
They're going to face huge backlash. I can tell you this.
The
right
stewards, though, are part of your organization.
Yeah, and
you cannot allow that to happen.
No, that they're literally hired by your organization to do that.
You cannot allow. Again, people get on the field. That's not what my issue is. Mm-hmm. That fan needs to be banned for life. He should not be allowed back into the pitch.
Well, that steward's going to be banned for life too.
That steward will be as well.
100%.
But the fan getting on the field is, I don't necessarily blame the stewards because it happens all the time. You see it all the time. There was 4 fans on the field.
That shouldn't be a thing, though.
But it happens even here. You see it in NFL games every once in a while. It's not as frequent.
No, but that's what I mean. But with how frequently it happens, there's got to be some sort of better thing they can do.
Yeah. Well, there's 4 today.
I get you can't control, a guy in the first row hopping over and going in the stands. I get that.
Yeah.
But
they used to. Do you know what they used to do? There used to be barbed wire fences around all the pitches. And Craig Forrest was on the Sportsnet broadcast today before the United Arsenal match.
Yep.
And he was saying, I don't want to go back to that, but do we have to? That's a scary thought.
The biggest thing is that everything nowadays is about making money, right? Everything's about, visibility for fans and make sure it's better for
of course
video and all that kind of stuff.
Of course. And I understand
they don't want to have to be almost having a jail yard rules where it's barbed wire all the way around the side.
Yeah, but
right?
you don't want the players to be put at risk, and that's the problem.
Yeah, and that's
Grealish. If this guy connected better, thankfully this guy pretty much glanced his jaw. He caught him, but it was more of a glance than a real hit.
Yeah.
If this guy actually caught him hard, and Grealish was concussed, that is unacceptable.
I completely agree, and I think that is going to be lots of backlash regarding this for sure.
And rightfully so.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's my tire fire of the week.
Yep.
I'll let you go because I have to do Irfan's.
Yep.
He sent me his. I have to tell everybody what it is, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah, well, my tire fire for the week is the state of the LA Lakers and how
Lakers.
Absolutely trash they are right now.
That's sad, too.
And that is the understatement of the year right now.
But the sad thing is their lineup shouldn't be this bad.
No, and
they really should.
They brought in LeBron, and everybody's, they're going to be number 1 in the West. They're going to compete with the Golden State Warriors. And right now they're
below 500.
7 games out of the playoffs.
Below 500.
Yeah. 6 games below 500.
I
get LeBron's injured.
Which is fine.
But there was no way he was going to carry him that much.
He couldn't.
Even in Cleveland, he had more pieces than he does right now.
It's debatable, but those pieces played better together.
That's what I mean.
That's more what I said.
Right.
I would say that the Lakers' pieces are better.
Individually, they're younger.
They're better individually.
Lonzo can't put up points by himself.
I'm not saying he could.
Ingram, who knows? Nobody even knows what he is yet.
Yeah.
He was number 2 overall pick,
something like that,
and people still have no idea what he's actually worth.
Yeah.
Kuzma can either go off for 40 points or not even show up and get
Disappear.
2. Hart has been pretty much invisible, I'm pretty sure. I haven't paid too much attention to the Lakers, to be honest.
Hart was hurt, wasn't he, for a while?
I don't know.
I think he was hurt.
When I watch the games, when I see he's invisible.
Yeah.
Lance, I don't think has done too much.
Rajon.
Well, he was injured for the longest time. I get they've had injuries.
Contavious Caldwell Pope was supposed to be good. Tyson Chandler came in. He's done nothing.
Yeah, JaVale McGee.
JaVale is JaVale. JaVale's JaVale, though. They kind of knew what they were getting when they signed him.
That's what I mean, but I don't they have pieces, but they're being just absolute trash. And now Ingram's done for the year. Ball is done for the year as of now, and then LeBron's on minute watch,
32 minutes a game. That's all he gets.
So he's on minute watch and all kind of stuff, right? So like, my tire fire is just the state of the LA Lakers, the laid back Lakers, I think is what we called it.
And just so.
It's just
laid back Lakers.
Yeah, just the fact that they're absolutely in a trash heap right now after everybody had lofty expectations for them this year. So
it's a pretty good one.
Yep.
I think this one's pretty good too from Irfan.
Mm-hmm.
I want to win one. You guys keep beating me. You had the Rams for 4 straight or 4 straight.
Yeah.
They were one short of making it into the rafters and retiring. Now Irfan's 2 for 2 with the Ottawa Senators, and he's got another good one. And he's sticking to hockey.
Yep.
Yeah, he just sent this to me as this tire fire name. He usually comes up with pretty cool ones. He literally just put Columbus Blue Jackets, period. Rightfully so.
Yep.
And they have been bad. They've been really, really bad since the trade deadline, which they tooled up and tried to get ready for everything.
Yep.
They just have not pulled it together. They barely snuck past the Devils in a game that they should have blown them out, and they didn't.
Yep.
He even picked, Irfan picked them as his trade deadline winner. And they just haven't done anything since. They've been brutal. Torts is sitting out McQuaid because he hasn't been good enough. And let's be honest, Torts is putting him in bad situations, so it's not really helping McQuaid.
It's because I don't like Torts as a coach.
I agree.
The only reason I like him is because he makes stupid comments and he gets on the news all the time. It's the only reason why I like him.
Yeah. And now, the Columbus Blue Jackets are not even in the division spot anymore. They're in the wild card.
Yeah, right now they're playing Tampa in the first round.
You just dropped out of 3rd in the division and all the way down to 5th.
To Carolina.
And Pittsburgh. No, but Pittsburgh passed them as well.
I know, but Carolina is 3rd in the division right now.
And rightfully so. They've played unreal.
I love Carolina. They have Peter Mrazek and Curtis McElhaney as their goalies.
Hey, Max is a great backup goalie.
Exactly. You should not be losing in the division spot to those 2 goalies.
No,
when you have Sergei Bobrovsky,
yeah,
by himself, he should carry you to that next point.
Agreed.
Right?
It's just one of those ones where I can't understand after tooling up like they did
and giving up every single pick they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not showing Panarin and Bobrovsky good reason to stay.
Absolutely not. Let alone Duchesne or Dzingel, who are also free agents.
Yeah. You probably have 4 of your top 6 players, 7 players. Well, depending on where you rank Dzingel in that team. I don't know where
5 or 6. Yeah.
Right. Depending on where you rank him, you have 4 of your top, fill in the number there, players.
Yep.
All UFAs. And you're showing that no one wants to play for Torts and no one wants to play in Columbus.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what you're showing. There's a chance that they fall out of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, Irfan, nice tire fire, dude.
I agree. Yeah, very nice.
Nicely done.
Don't win this week, though.
Don't win yet. Can I win, guys, please?
No, I'm sorry.
It's my segment. Can I win?
Get better. You're trash.
I'm working on it. Yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up? Raps clinching a playoff spot. Good for
Raps clinched, yeah. Milwaukee and Raps are the only 2 teams that clinched so far.
Yeah. And I think they're 6 games up or something on Golden State.
Something like that.
Good for them.
So, yeah, I think, I don't know. I think the East is probably going to take it this year. It's a bold statement, but I think the East is going to take the championship.
I just think that the West is going to beat up on each other all through the playoffs.
That's what I mean. I think
and you got 3 teams maybe in the East that are going to compete.
Probably in the East final, you're probably going to have. Ideally, you have Bucks Raps,
which is probably
best 2 teams.
Which
in the
honestly
East
is realistic.
Yeah, and I think probably in the West, you probably have Golden State and
probably Houston.
Either Houston or Denver. Denver's been playing well as well. So,
yeah, that's true. I always forget Denver. I always don't put Denver up there, but they've played really well.
Nobody ever thinks of Denver, right?
They've played really well. I'll give them credit.
Denver's that other team, right? That just seems to be always consistent. But, OKC can always show up. Portland can show up. Because right now Golden State's matching up with the Spurs, so I like that matchup for Golden State.
Nuggets against the Clippers.
That second round series, you're probably looking at OKC or Portland,
which is tough. That's a tough matchup.
And the way Golden State's been playing this year, not as the greatest team, it's a controversial topic.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair. And then you got Houston would have to play Utah and then probably Denver.
Yep.
Which that'd be a fun matchup, I think.
Well, because number 2 is Denver, so
Number 2 is Denver.
they would probably play Houston. Because right now it would be
Utah.
Houston, Utah,
Denver, LA.
So
LA
yeah.
Clippers.
Yeah.
Let's specify that.
Yeah, definitely not the Lakers. Definitely not the Lakers.
That'd be a walk.
Yeah. So then in the East, you got Milwaukee, Miami, which would be a good series because you would see Dwayne Wade and stuff like that.
Which I love watching him play.
You have Toronto, Brooklyn, which Brooklyn's already won the first 2 matchups against Toronto, but
yeah, that's a tough matchup for the
comes down.
Raps, but they're the better team and should come out of that.
the other thing is, Detroit can drop and Brooklyn hops them, so it all depends on that. Indiana's right now in 3rd, but they're only a game up on Philly, so
That one could honestly the next 3 spots could go anywhere.
3, 4, 5 can switch pretty easily. I think if you're Indiana or if you're Toronto or Milwaukee, you want Philly, Boston at 4 or 5.
Yeah. Oh,
and
for sure.
just have them beat up on each other.
Absolutely. And then Milwaukee will
hopefully
picks
up the scraps is realistic.
Well, the other thing is that the one thing that we're not pointing out is they get reseeded after the first round in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
So you get Milwaukee will play the lowest rated team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who that is, it's debatable, but
unless somebody gets upset, you're looking at Philly.
Yeah. Right. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I thought we'd give a shout out to our Raptor boys.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing well. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to bring up?
No, I think that's it for me.
All right. Keep looking out for those heated segments. We're just trying to get our intro figured out, and then we will post one of those as soon as we get that done. Also, keep an eye out. We might be releasing a video version of this episode.
Yes.
Fancy.
Very fancy.
With actual video.
Ooh.
We're going to give that a try. We'll see if it works. If not, I apologize for getting your hopes up once again. But we're giving stuff a try, guys. We're still young. We're figuring it out.
You're basically going to see an hour of us just looking at our computer screens.
That's not true. I looked over at you a lot. You didn't look up at once.
I didn't look up, no.
But we'll figure it out. When there's 3 of us, it's a little bit easier to bounce.
But everybody can see my gritty sweater, so it's okay.
Your gritty sweater is very nice. We also have to update some of these, I think.
Yes.
Some of the jerseys that we have up. I got the St. Pat's one, by the way.
Nice.
I caved. But that'll pretty much do it for us here this week. Make sure you vote on Twitter and Instagram for your Tire Fire of the Week. We love having you guys vote. We've been getting a lot more recently, and we do like that.
Absolutely.
We're going to try to put more polls up throughout the next couple weeks when it comes to Champions League, as well as probably the NBA and NHL playoffs rounding out, and hopefully we'll get more of you guys involved. So for all of us here at Garage Door Sports, we want to thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.